Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Real Estate Talk. Today I want to talk to you about appraisals, because whether you're a buyer or a seller, if the buyer is getting financing or a bank is involved in the transaction, you have to deal with appraisal. So first off, let's say what is an appraisal and why is it done? So first off, appraisals are they're done by independent companies. They're not done by the financial institution that's lending. So they are a neutral third party that comes out and basically gives their opinion on value of a specific property. This is based on the condition of the property, the size, the location, the upgrades. So many things go into the appraisal decision, and it's basically being compared to what other listings recently closed or are pending or active in that specific neighborhood. So that's how an appraisal, they come up with a value. It's just FYI, this is the same way we at Wahba Group look up comps. So we have very little issues with appraisal because we talk to appraisals and we understand what they are looking for, and that's how we also pull comps for our buyers when we're representing them. So that's what is an appraisal. Why is it done? Because the property that you're buying is the collateral that the bank is lending you money for. So they want to make sure that the property is actually worth what you've decided to pay for it. So let's say you've decided to pay $800,000 for a house. The bank wants to make sure that the house is really worth $800,000. And here's where the next points come. So what are the different scenarios with appraisal? So the first scenario is the purchase price, let's call $800,000 as our example. The appraised value comes in at $810,000. So it's over what you've decided to pay. Doesn't matter. You will still pay the $800,000 that you have agreed to with the seller. They can't come back and say, oh, now it's worth $810,000. It is worth $810,000 in the eyes of the bank, but you're still going to be paying $800,000. So that's great news for you. The second very common scenario is it comes in at price. So you're paying $800,000. The appraised value comes in at $800,000. And again, nothing there that you need to do or the seller needs to worry about. So those first two scenarios are pretty easy. Now the question is, what if the appraisal comes in lower than the price that you've decided to pay for a property? So in this case, the appraisal comes in at $790,000. That means the bank is only going to be loaning you money based on a $790,000 purchase price. So you have $10,000 that we need to figure out. First case is the seller drops the price by $10,000. They agree to do so. Again, no issues. Keep moving forward. The second option we have is the buyer decides, oh my God, I love the property so much. The seller hasn't agreed to reduce the price, but we see the value here. We're going to pay that extra $10,000. So they just come up with an extra $10,000 in their down payment. And if they decide to do that, that's up to them. Number three is both the buyer and seller decide that, okay, we want to work this deal out. Let's meet somewhere in the middle. So they split it, or there's an agreement made of some sort. So let's say the buyer comes up with another $5,000 and the seller drops the price by $5,000. And again, you've reached an agreement, you keep moving forward. Now, the final option, I guess, is you don't reach an agreement. So the buyer doesn't want to pay any extra, the seller doesn't want to drop the price, or they can't seem to meet somewhere in the middle. And as long as the buyer is within their appraisal contingency period, they can back out from the transaction based on the house not appraising to the purchase price, and they would not, their security deposit would not be in jeopardy. So that's another discussion for another day about contingencies and timelines, but you want to make sure you are within your appraisal contingency timeline if the property does not appraise. Hope this was helpful. Please let me know if you have any additional questions about appraisals or anything else for that matter. I'd be happy to help. Feel free to reach out, and you have a great day. We'll see you soon.